Beautiful California. Beautiful.
With the coffee.
Enjoying my coffee. Coffee black.
It's my morning coffee.
Coffee.
Have a cup of coffee with me?
What? Matt, can I get that coffee to go?
Here we go again. How did we get to this point? Steph Curry versus LeBron James, right? Some people say, hey, this is like the NBA Finals for me, right?
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
This is a big matchup. But what does this ultimately come down to? This is the overachiever versus the underachiever. The overachiever will be Steph Curry, all right? Coming up into the league, nobody thought much of Steph Curry. At most, you probably thought he'd be an all-star for a couple of years, then flame out. But if I was to tell you that same guy that got drafted would be hailed as the greatest shooter of all time, a four-time champion that's looking to eclipse Magic Johnson as the greatest point guard of all time, and may be on the verge of trying to creep his way to be in, not just in the top 10, but top 5, you would look at me like I'm crazy. If I was to tell you that guy would go on to being a 2-time MVP, 1-time unanimous MVP, and hailed as one of the top 5 best players in his generation, you would look at me like I'm crazy. Because none of these labels was put upon Steph Curry based upon getting drafted. So he is an overachiever, because you didn't suspect this from Steph Curry at all. But LeBron James is an underachiever, and that's who he's going up against. A guy that did had a lot of hype behind him. Perceived to be this, perceived to be that. Perceived to be a top 5 player of all time. To some people he is, some people he's not. He's a top 10. And he's still battling for basketball supremacy in terms of being called the ultimate goal, which is becoming the GOAT. And based off expectations, he has fallen short of that, but he hasn't fallen short of becoming a superstar. So there's 2 aspects to his career. Being a superstar, he exceeded the hype. He was an all-star for a lot of years of his career, then became a superstar. But the status of his legacy is what's in question, because in your 20th season, you should be sitting on more championships by now, sitting on a lot of more things by now in your 20th season, based upon the hype that we put upon LeBron James. When we first saw him play in high school, we thought that guy was going to become the greatest basketball player of all time. Some people thought that. And then, based off a couple career choices, a couple losses here and there, a couple flops, he failed. And those failures have to be made up for. So we have to see where he will be aligned in his career. So with that being said, this is the ultimate challenge. Now, I would tell you this much before I even go on to saying how important this matchup is, so to speak, but it's not the grand scheme of everything. If Steph Curry beats LeBron James in this playoffs, but then goes on to lose, that doesn't help his legacy. Okay, he got to win the championship. It's not just about beating LeBron James. And for LeBron James, a guy who's been pestered or annoyed by Steph Curry for countless times now, you not only have to beat Steph Curry, you have to win a championship. Okay, beating Steph Curry and then going on to losing doesn't help your career. All right, you still lost. You don't win the championship for the second round. You don't win the championship for the first round. You don't win the championship for the third round. You, my friend, Mr. LeBron James, you got to win a championship. Okay, no buts, ifs about it. You need to bring another title to your legacy, because at the end of the day, it's not about the role players for you or Steph. It's about both of y'all, because y'all chasing history. Austin Reeves ain't chasing no history. He get a championship. You could call him a champion, but you ain't gonna call him the best player of all time. You ain't gonna call him a top 5 player of all time. This is about your legacy. Those guys are here to help input your legacy, Steph Curry and LeBron. And if Steph not only beats LeBron James, but wins the NBA championship, you can make a strong case that he could surpass Magic Johnson. Yeah, I said it because Magic Johnson didn't win without his alpha number one guy, right? But Steph Curry, based off some of y'all logic, because KD was the better player, right? And he stole 2 finals MVPs from Steph. But Steph has won 2 times without Kevin Durant. So that whole stigma is gone. See, when you're the sidekick or you're the number one, the rules are different for you, all right? So if you playing under somebody, it's your job to prove that you could be a leader and win without that person. Steph Curry already did that, all right? So rather he was playing under, or rather he was actually the real best player on that Golden State Warriors team, it's irrelevant at this point because he's did both. He did what was suspected by playing with Kevin Durant, and he did what was not suspected by playing without Kevin Durant, which is win an NBA championship. So his legacy is almost just as good as anybody playing in basketball. It's actually better than LeBron's at some point. The guy is what, 4-2 in the NBA Finals? He'd be 3-2. I mean, he'd be 5-2, excuse me, if he wins another NBA championship. 5-2. And LeBron James will still be stuck at 4-6 in your own generation. All greats got to win more than they lose on the biggest stage there is, period. All greats got to be part of some dynasty, because when you look at everybody's top 5, half of those guys been part of a dynasty. LeBron has yet to be part of one. But Steph Curry is part of a dynasty. The Warriors dynasty is an organic dynasty built from the ground up. No different from what LeBron James tried to do, but failed. But Michael Jordan got it. Tim Duncan got it. Kobe Bryant got it. Everybody was part of dynasties except for LeBron James himself. So you got a lot of stuff to check off that box of greatness. And you're running out of time. The clock is ticking. You better not only beat Steph Curry, but you better win an NBA championship this season. You got all the right tools to win an NBA championship. I want to see it get done. No excuses. The same thing for Steph Curry. May the best man win. I love this. NBA action is fantastic. Woo! This is the way.